years since I've been gone, I got much to tell you guys that will blow your mind. Like I told you the last time I came here, I'm living a life that I love, that I hate. I'm setting an example, crash test dummy, to teach others what I went through for no reason, to teach you that you shouldn't have to go through this as long as you don't sin.
Right now.
That was me carrying the case across the road, and I lived through it.
She was in her 90s. I just wanted to forgive her, so on December 29th, I asked for her charges to be dropped because I forgave her.
To this day, I'm still here. So today we're going to talk about is how the devil keeps you broke. Everybody can relate to this. I went through it, but I'm not going through it no more. I don't have money problems. If you follow the first YouTube I put out, the movie, it taught how you don't have to be broke no more. I'm taken care of. I'm fortified. I'm supplied. I don't even have to ask for it. It just happens. It will happen for you too. So back to about how the devil keeps you broke. Spending more than you can afford is the first thing he makes you do. Everybody. I went through this. I remember when I was married. Well, my dad, when we had Christmas, he flooded the living room floor full of toys. What I did when I was married, I maxed out the card at Toys R Us. I just followed my dad's heart. So anyway, spending more than you can afford. Satan's primary tactics for keeping you poor is making you spend more than you can afford. The spirit of bipolar is the main culprit. My grandmother was bipolar. I used to be bipolar. If you remember last year, I had a disease that I caught after I got married that was going to kill me, that I had to take a pill, $112 a day. I don't have it no more. My dad was heavy-duty diabetic. I don't check my blood sugar. If you remember from last year to this very day, I still just drink water. I have no vices. Am I bragging? Exalting? No. Do it all for him. The more you do for him, the more he gives you. It will blow your mind. I wake up every morning without coffee. I have no vices. You can do the same thing. Everybody can. The more you give up the world for him, the more you get through the world unscathed. And then when you get paid, what happens after you get paid? Unexpected problems arise, do they not, with your car, with your house? They spring up, right? How the devil keeps you broke. The next thing he uses is financial abusers. These are the ones Satan introduces into your life. They come in and they drain you financially. We've all been there, right? These are all tactics. This is not negative. This is the positive. It's going to teach you how to get out of it. The fourth thing is the debt crisis. Let me tell you, recently, I had a food card. I'll be honest. I was living off a food card. With the government shut down, they took the food card away, right? This is what it'll do for you too. So the food card came back and I went down to the DES to reinstate it. I can't get another food card till 2028. It's the end of 2025 now. But next month, on my birthday, I'll be 62. This past week, I'm going to start collecting Social Security. The money I paid into it. About $310 a week. It's enough to keep me fed. The reason why I'm saying just to keep me fed, I got a story behind that, because something remarkable happened 3 hours into the new year that I've only told a few about. That was another situation that I walked from. From last Sunday, walk from that too. I'm going to keep on walking. The debt crisis. Satan has done a masterful job convincing people that the debt is good and financial security is an illusion. Pride, stubbornness, competition, ignorance is his weapons. My dad and his brother used to compete buying new cars. My uncle would go out and get a van. My dad would go out and get the same van. It's all him. To make sure you stay broke. The fifth thing is wrong financial decisions. How many have we made the wrong decisions? Make smart financial decisions only to find out they were a misguided disaster. Surprise at the end. His tactic, from what I've learned, he always strikes at the bitter end. Expect it. And when you expect it, you can overcome it, no matter what the situation is. The Lord and I have been serving the streets 5 years this coming spring of 26. I learned that. I can have a phenomenal night on the streets. Just unbelievable night. But he always strikes at the bitter end to spoil it all. So expect that. The next one is the devourer, it's titled. Lacking tithes and offerings versus legal ground for Satan to attack your finances. If you don't tithe for your church, they need money. It's a building, they got expenses. There's a special date that I save every year, that I give a $100 bill to whatever church I go into. I get rewarded for that. Matthew 6:24 says, Jesus says you can't serve God and mammon, but the church needs the money to survive. The more you give when you blindly give, the more you get back. It's amazing. And the last thing is the government. Major demons that run the government. You all know that. I just told you about my food card. He tried to starve me, but guess what? Starting next month, on February 26th, I start getting my Social Security. It's about $12.40 a month. I'm not ashamed about that, but it's enough to get me by, because he's going to keep me going, and you too. Just follow along. Everything I'm teaching you, what I went through, I want you to know about too. Look at all those stories, an hour long of stories from what was here last time, would blew your mind. This whole year, I want to thank everyone that learned from it. It wasn't a preaching, it was a teaching. I've been through the ringer for no reason, to teach you to avoid the ringer. It's not fun. This life I live, what he gave me, is not fun. I hate it, but I love the life I hate. So anyways, I got stories to share with you to give you a refresh your memory from last year about money. The first hour was all about how I was covered with the money. Let's talk about filling your gas tank. Remember, I had a job that didn't support my rent. The last time they scheduled me was 12 hours. So I said I can't pay rent on that. That prompted me to ditch the house and live out of my van. No rent for 4 years so far. I'm so happy with that. I'm not bragging. So I go to the gas station, put the holes in the hole, watching the numbers. It's going to lock out at $36 or whatever. It goes $10, $20, $30, $40. I'm watching this, $50. It stops at $55. He filled my tank. I go home and I don't step on his toes. I don't dare, but I got curious. I refilled my debit card. It was still at $36. We'll do the same for you. Anybody. Just turn your heart to him. He'll do it. The Lord scales the hearts. In Proverbs 21:2. Man sees himself right in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the hearts. When you turn to him, you lose friends and family. So my mother lives with my brother. This is a brand new story. And I went over to see my mother for Thanksgiving, and my mom says, well, everyone's coming over here. By 4 o'clock, you gotta get out. So I got out. The Lord and I hit the streets. We're down at Main Street and Dobson. That's where I was gonna start out, seeing who I could find, homeless, whatever. And this woman gets off the train, and she's barely walked. I seen it. And she grabs a shopping cart, was right there. He set that up for her. And she's pushing the shopping cart as a walker, and I walked up to her. And she told me her problem was her leg was twice the size as the other leg. She had a spider bite, homeless, filthy, dirt head to toe. I said, I'll run you to the hospital. She didn't want to go to the hospital. She wanted to eat. Every time I go by this store, I look at it on Main. So on the way, we're going to Denny's, Stapley, Maine. And on the way there, she goes, by the way, you got a wheelchair. And I look in the back of my van. I said, I don't have a wheelchair, but I will run you to the hospital. It's right here. It'll clean you up. They got wheelchairs. She wanted to eat, so we went. And whenever I bring someone to feed them, Denny's or whatever, I always say order protein. She just orders donut holes. And she goes to the bathroom for the longest time, and her donut holes come out, and I'm sitting there. Well, she finally comes out, and she almost takes the whole bottle of syrup on the donut holes, like drowning them. So as we're walking, this is Thanksgiving, we're walking out of Denny's at the threshold of the door, right there, going out. She's holding onto my arm for dear life because she was in so much pain. There was a husband and wife coming in with a wheelchair and said, my wife is getting in a wheelchair brand new tomorrow. Would you like this one? And I said, that's the Holy Spirit. So take the wheelchair. She wouldn't do it. She got on the train, disappeared. The reason why I told you that, he'll do the same for you. That's true. It was a Thanksgiving where I had no turkey. I didn't even eat that day. I don't think hardly. But I had a wheelchair instead. Christmas time, it's Christmas, it's December 2025. I love all people. I have nothing against anybody, but the Mormon temple, in Mesa, they deck out the grounds with lights. I love holiday lights. And I walked in there one time, and there was this girl, two young girls telling a testimony to a group of people that were there visiting. And I caught the tail end of it, so I followed them. I didn't want them to know I was following them like a predator or whatever. And they stopped right where the testimony they talked about on the grounds. And their testimony was when they were putting up the lights, they had a string of lights 12 feet too long. And they went to go get clippers, and when they came back, the string was already clipped. Then I told them, if you remember the last time I was here, how my daughter was born, how about the prison sky, and the actual angel that was sent to me to test my generosity. But these two guys came and pulled the two girls away, but they stayed put. And I kept telling all these stories like I told you, and more came over. I had a group on their home turf listening to me. I felt like a visitor basketball team in a game. And I walked off those grounds thanking him. I felt 10 feet tall. He'll do the same for you. That really did happen. That made my Christmas right there. You want to talk about Santa? Remember last time the Noah list? Things that are in this day and age that Noah didn't have in his day. Is talk about Santa. I was at Superstition Mall, and it was during closing time, and this guy that was playing Santa, the poor guy was walking by me. He had his head down. He was walking out those doors. He looked so alone. Stop taking your kids to see Santa. It's a lie. Tell your kids about the real birthday. Have balloons for him, cake, everything. It'd be a celebration. The kids will love it. The golden moment. One of my teachers, my beloved teachers from Wisconsin, was my boss. Early 90s when I first got married. And I was clearing debris out of a machine, and he turned it on and it took my arm. I didn't go to the hospital. Remember when the neighbor broke my nose? The first video? I didn't go to the hospital. My boss goes, "You have a golden moment." I forgave. I said, "No, I don't." To this day, we've been brothers in Christ for over 30 years. Going on 40. Because I didn't do nothing. The same guy, when the guy hit my nose, I didn't do nothing. He was in disbelief that I didn't call the cops or nothing. The more he hit me, the more I loved him. Jesus says in Matthew 5:38-39, "You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth." Exodus 21:24. "But I tell you not to resist an evil person, but whoever slaps you on the right cheek, turn the other also." I'm telling you, the more he pounded my nose in, the more I loved him. I paid no never mind being in the shower with blood coming out for an hour. But at the end of the week, they were out of that neighborhood. He'll take care of you. He doesn't like you being picked on. The more he hit me, the more I loved him. I have a buddy of mine that I worked with back in the early 80s. His birthday, he was drunk and he killed a mother and 2 kids. He was abandoned. What did I do? I was with him. I stayed with him because of forgiveness. One day he gave me a big hug out of the blue. I said, I know what you're all about and why you did that. I did that for him, not for me or my buddy. I was there in the hospital with him. He had to have screws in his knee, in his ankle and everything, but I was there because nobody else actually was. You got to do the same. I just told you about forgiveness. When you can't forgive, that person's up here and you're down here. When you forgive, the roles reverse. 3 powers: the power of our will, the power of choice, and the power to forgive. Power of choice. We're going to face the one we hurt the most. What are we going to say to him? With God, there's no gray area. It's either left, right, up, down, front or back. There's no compromise. When I'm out there and out in the jungle, I don't compromise. So those are some of the stories. I mean, I can keep on going here. You want to talk about my daughter being pulled over? Remember, I had an appetite that came over me that was over the top. My roommate knew something was going to go down when she lived with me. She went with me. My daughter was pulled over at a bank. I was on my way to the grocery store to get this junk food I don't hardly eat. So the bank was right there. My daughter was pulled over by a county and a state trooper. And I get out of the van, I go, "Hey, officer, that's my daughter. Is there something, what's wrong?" And they kind of looked at each other, dumbfounded. They couldn't believe I was there. And they go, "Oh, well, there's something wrong with her tags." You know what that did? He used me to break up a rape. Who's going to believe my daughter if that really did happen? He'll do the same for you. It's no joke. When it comes to God, there's no joke. God is not a toy. You can't sit there and say, "I'm going to return to God," and then go back to sin and return. No. Repentance is not a power, it's a right. You got to repent and never go back to it. My air conditioning is another money one. Remember? After my divorce, I was in a single trailer. This is the month of June in this desert, Arizona. My air compressor, or air conditioning compressor outside went out, $5,000. I had no money for that. And all of a sudden, what I'm going to do for the rest of the summer? My dad just died, and this is 21. My dad just died, And my mom, that same week, before I even knew, got his insurance money. Paid for the air conditioning. He'll do the same for you. He'll look out for you. All you got to do is drop the sin. That's all you got to do. It doesn't matter who you are. There's no sin in heaven. He went to the cross. Do you want to talk about how he died on the cross? How he died and suffered? Go to a playground and hang by monkey bars with your feet dangling. You can't breathe. So when you're like this, you're nailed here and here. The only way you can breathe is to push up with your feet, to open up the chest cavity, to push up the diaphragm, to take a breath. So everyone that was crucified back then were bouncing bunnies on those crosses. So the day they crucified him, the Pharisees went to Pilate and said it was a preparation day for the Passover. They didn't want no bodies on those crosses. They wanted them all down. So they asked to have their legs broken. I believe it's in Mark. So they came to the first one on this side and they broke his legs with a sledgehammer. They came over here and broke his legs. The one that came to him, they seen he was already dead. They wanted to make sure they speared his side. On Psalm 34:20, it filled prophecy. He guarded all his bones, not one of them was broken. That was written thousands of years ago. That's how they suffered on those crosses. So when your legs are broke, you can't push up no more. The only way you could take a breath is pull up with your arms. When your arm strength failed, you suffocated, and that's how you died. It hastened death. Horrible. The first time I was here, I was, positive and upbeat, but now we're going to get into a little bit to make you think. Stop sinning. I have a phone ministry, 6 a.m., 12 noon, and at night for everybody on my phone list. My phone list is horrendous. I even got kids on there that are satanic. But you know what? Nobody on my phone list tells me to stop. I'm thankful. Very thankful. So I have so much here. I'm just going through this. Remember about what I told you last year about my disease? I'm going to tell you what that is. After my divorce, my libido went through the roof. I got back in the gym big as a gorilla. I had HIV. The way I found that out was not an accident. Me and my roommate were in our house. There was a girl on TV that was getting blood transfusions since birth. And I told my roommate, how can I help her? I want to help her. She was a phlebotomist. She was a nurse and went into people's homes. She goes, why don't you donate plasma? And I go, what the heck is plasma? Oh, there's a place in Gilbert, they'll give you money. They'll pay you. So they did. The first time was $50. I wasn't working at the time. It was a joy to get that $50. Then I went a second time. Then the third time I went up to the Coista register to say I was there. It said, see medical office. So I went. I was strong, energetic, wide awake, not weak. Hands me the paper, said HIV. Christmas Eve. I wanted to get my daughters something for Christmas. So I went to one doctor, one lab, 3 times. Positive, no faults. I had to start taking a pill, $112 a day. I don't have it. I haven't taken the pill in years. I just got over a cold. I've had the flu. Got over it. My immune system is intact. He'll do the same for you. Drop the sin. All he wants. Back about forgiveness. If you can't forgive, he ain't going to forgive you. Where's that going to leave you? Gotta forgive. The last time I'm going to make a funny, I discovered something when I was here last time. I was missing something. I haven't been to a dentist for over 20 years since I've been married. And I went to what killed that, I went to a dentist during a checkup and there was a major pain. I went back and they fixed it. But When I was younger in on a baseball team, I was sitting on the ground with a couple players, and the guy was playing with the bat, and he knocked a tooth out of my mouth. This is back in the 70s when you could spit in the sink in the dentist. I was in a dental chair for over 3.5 hours of hell. It was horrible. I was out with Novocaine and the gas and everything. And I remember the dentist was taking the post. It was called a post and pounding it into my skull. But I was told it was going to be in there till the day I die. If I haven't been to a dentist for 12 years, why is that the only thing missing? It just fell out. I have healthy teeth. It'll do the same for you. So I'll wrap this up. The bottom line, whatever your sin you're in, remember from the last time I was here. It doesn't matter if it's smoking marijuana, adultery, fornicate, pornography. It doesn't matter what the sin is. You're surrounded by disembodied spirits that you can't see that want to take you to hell. There was proof on it in my last video. Check it out. I'm telling you, everything today is the truth. If I told you a lie, he'll ding me for it. That scares me. All you have to do is stop sinning. That's probably pretty much it. I'm going to come back next month and tell you more. So hang in there with all this. It's good news. A lot of this is churches ain't going to teach you this because they don't want to lose their members. They don't want to lose their money. But I'm going to tell you the truth today. So have a great time and wait till next month. I'll see you next month.